Without us even realizing on a daily basis, a lot of us suffer from past traumas and pain that we have not healed from, or we partially healed from, or we swept under the rug, or we just chose to ignore. Not realizing that those past cores and those past traumas has everything to do with certain favorable simulations that are currently happening to you as we speak, or has happened recently, and is throwing you off your square. Is really getting you upset. Is stressing you out. You're frustrated. You feel like you hit the wall because I'm like, why do I keep going through the same shit over and over and over and over again? It is because you haven't taken the time out with yourself to be honest with yourself and be completely courageous with yourself to face the themes in your life that has caused you this type of dysfunction, this dysfunctional type of living. You can sit up there and say, oh, this happened to me decades ago. Oh, this person is dead. This person that afflicted me in a negative way is he's or she is gone now. Like I can't speak to her, I can't speak to him. You're putting restrictions on yourself. You're denying yourself. You're denying what your voice, what your intent could do. I don't give a fuck if that person has been cremated. That person that got you fucked up can't hear you. Depending on the severity of that individual, whether it's a family member or family friend, whatever, someone posing as someone of light and they weren't. I promise you that they're either in purgatory, somewhere, or one of the tiers of the underworld, repeating a certain simulation with them because they haven't healed from something. And they allow it to rule their whole entire existence. And they've afflicted so many people during their lifetime that now it's still replaying with them in the afterlife. They could hear you. And this is one of their lessons that they have to learn. Being confronted by someone that they've afflicted. So, I say this all to say, there are many ways to heal yourself and to end simulations. Number one thing is being honest and transparent with yourself. Being very honest, transparent, and also, most importantly, patience. That means unbiasedly identifying what the roots could possibly be. What are the roots of this pain and this hurt? What's the theme of it? Whatever the theme is. You take a moment out of your day and you write down something that you know that happened early on in your lifetime. That could be a theme that could connect to whatever unfavorable situations or simulations that are going on with you right now. That includes a sibling attacking you, an older sibling or older cousin physically attacking you and causing you physical harm. It could be something like that. Of course, molestation is another common one. The other could be verbal abuse. Verbal abuse from not only your siblings but your parents, and also your parents could fall in the same category as physical abuse too. Because that's what they know. They're only dispatching what they've learned. It may not be something intentional that they are doing and not realizing how that could affect you, how it affected them, and the reason why they're still repeating that and spreading that trauma onto you, not realizing that the same exact pain that they're inflicting on the others is causing them to go through assimilation to where they're being abused in some kind of a facet. So it's important to keep in mind when you are identifying the spark of your traumas is to completely be honest and unbiased with yourself on where you feel that these things are coming from. Number two is connecting the dots of all of the experiences thereafter. When you identify all the experiences, like, okay, I've experienced, for example, for me, I've experienced molestation at the age of 4 by my uncle. And because of that terrible experience, I then started to attract people who felt that it was okay to violate me in many type of ways. May not be in a sexual way, it could be in a verbal way, it could be in a physical way. So that means people comfortability on feeling that they could do whatever or say whatever to me and there's no repercussions from that. That's not also limited to also how I started to react when especially when I was a teenager and feeling promiscuous because I didn't have that love and attention that I deserved, and feeling absent of that, and now going into places and spaces that are not conducive of self just to find love, support, someone to level with me. That, as an example, is what you could use to connect the dots. Then after that, you forgive yourself, number one, and forgive others, whoever that was, whatever willing participants it was that chose to fuck with you in an unfavorable way, right? You forgive them and yourself for imperfections. Here's the hard part, and mean it. You gotta mean it. You gotta stand on it. You gotta really be at a space of forgiveness. So now, in the midst of you creating this mantra for yourself, you may even have to confront this person if this person is still alive. If you can, a phone call, it could be a phone call, it could be an email you could send to them, it could be a text message. But my favorite way of releasing everything as it is, so you could get the full picture and the energy and the full depiction of that other person that fucked with you, right? Just by speaking with them. So they could deflect, they could make excuses, they could point fingers, they could try to reroute you and blaming someone else or blaming yourself. The gaslighting that does actually happen. So let's not act like the people that afflicted you still are having a hard time passing whatever that they're going through. Here's where the compassion comes in. When you start to identify and realize that, hey, this person is still hurting. This person is still suffering from his or her pain, his or her traumas, that they refuse to heal from and face and tap into their courage and actually take care of it head on. This is the reason why this person feel that it is justified still. This is the reason why this person feel like, oh no, it didn't happen. Hide under some form of blackout curtain. Oh, I'm not here, but you can still see their feet in the ground. If you catch my analogy. The compassion comes in when you start to realize and understand at the end of the day, they're also hurting. They're also in pain. They haven't passed it. They may not ever pass it in this life. But that's okay. Because the difference between you, the victim, and that other person is that you are courageous enough to confront them. You're doing something that they can't do. Be honest with yourself and be honest with them. Hey, I know this is an uncomfortable conversation. I know this doesn't make you feel good. How you think this make me feel confronting you? It makes it even worse when it's someone that you consider family or that is family. Someone that the family trusted. Someone that you trusted once upon a time. They made this choice. They made the choice to neglect themselves. So now here they are neglecting everybody else. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, that's what they've done. It doesn't discount and fade away the fact or offset the fact that, hey, it's been done. It's been said. And even though this person that you confront may anger you because they're bringing up something that has nothing to do with the circumstance at hand, because that's what they tend to do. They point fingers and, oh no, you should be mad at this person because they didn't protect you, or you should be mad at yourself because you did this to me, or you didn't do this enough for me. So it's justified. They're telling themselves each time, and you gotta be present enough when you get the conversation from the confrontation. Listen to what they have to say. It might be maddening. It might get you a little upset. Like, oh, okay, now you're bringing this up, and I thought we healed from that type of thing. Anything, right? Keep in mind, they're telling on themselves. They're telling you why. They're telling you their reasoning. It may not make sense to you as someone that is developing your emotional intelligence, but it makes every sense to them. Lastly, whether you could text it or say it to them before they blow up and feel like they need to hang up the phone because they've been spotted, they've been embarrassed. You mentioned, I forgive myself and I forgive you for our imperfections. Regardless of you holding yourself accountable or realizing what you did or not, I am still holding you accountable. You stand firm in that. So that could be an additional step that you make to really set the healing into a different level, because now you're not plagued with the last traumatic experience that took place. Now the last experience or the last conversation will be the confrontation of you letting that person know, I know what happened and I'm holding you accountable. And whatever you feel like you need to say in your heart space, that makes sense for you. And you do not feel pitful of yourself for doing that. And don't allow them to make you feel like shit for having the courage they don't have. Lastly, when you identified the root of your trauma and you connect the dots on all of the things, all the experiences that were unfavorable to you and how it changed your life, and you realize or how it altered your life in the not so good way, and then you can say to yourself, no, I'm tired of this. I don't want this to affect my finances, my personal relationships, how I perceive myself, the energy that I have during the day. Because sometimes, believe it or not, the things that we went through in the past could actually just take us out of the game completely. and we're just not present and don't want to be present. We isolate ourselves. We don't want to talk to anybody. We're always tired. And I know that there's ascension symptoms out there that causes tiredness, but I'm talking about with those who are not experiencing it because they're not matching the vibrations of the earth, the natural vibrations of the earth, and they're just tired all the time. That's depression. That's an aspect and a form of depression. But know the difference. When you identify all those things, right? Now, you could have a conversation through the mantra with Source. You could mention to Source in a letter, Source, I would love to end the simulations that cause me the following unfavorable experiences. You can list them out. You can say them out. You can say it in front of your ancestor altar as you do it, whichever altar. But I would say the ancestor altar is the best because, believe it or not, a lot of your traumas are actually connected with your ancestors too. But that's another topic for another time. You list out, you say it out loud with your full chest. If you need to cry, it is okay. If you still feel angry and you're yelling it out, that is okay, because you're giving an exchange to Source of this experience and these feelings, because that's all Source wants. Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine wants the experience through us. Then after you list all of the root and the dots connected from your current and how it's affecting you in your current or your recent, then you say, I forgive myself and I forgive others for our imperfections. Because it's also important to know that even though you were victimized in the situation, because of your victimization, because it happened to you, you also don't realize sometimes how it also affects others that may not confront you for that very same thing. This depends. And again, it depends, right? So this is where you got to forgive yourself and for that other person. Then you could say, I am ready, because of this, I am ready to live the best version of my timeline. This is a simple layout. This is a simple format that you could use. And you could do this on a daily basis. You could do this anytime that you all of a sudden have this memory pop up in your head again, over and over and over and over again. You could have a nice day. You could be in the middle of having a conversation. You could be in the middle of driving. You could be in the middle of teaching. You could be in the middle of cooking some dinner. You could be in the middle of playing fucking video games. You get my drift, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, this memory comes up again. Oh, I thought I healed from this. Oh, I thought I'm over this. That's because you haven't fully given that experience to Source. This may take time. This is when I said in the beginning of the video, patience is number one with this, because it's not going to take overnight. Now, you may feel something release from yourself from the beginning, but it's repetition. It's like working out. It's like practicing for a game. It's levels. Sometimes while doing this, you could have other connections and other dots that you're starting to connect because you didn't realize before how it was affecting that specific theme of your life. That's okay too. You could add on to that and continue to release until even the thought that may come up again, it doesn't affect you or afflict you anymore. It doesn't get intertwined with your mood for the day. You can move on. You can be more at peace. You can make better moves and better decisions for yourself. And then you realize these blessings manifests itself. Instead of an unfavorable experience, certain blessings may happen. Whatever that may look like for you. Certain open doors of opportunity may arise. And then you simply being present, or it could just be a fact that you're simply present enough to notice, hey, I'm not experiencing these people, places, and things no more. That is your identifier that Source agreed to end the unfavorable simulations, and now you're living your life in peace. Now you don't have to bring the past to your present. You could leave the past where it is. You could accept the past for what it was and not let it anger you. You could trust in Source a lot more and yourself, that it won't happen again, that you're not going to experience those things anymore. You could be at a space where you could move and make these decisions unintentionally. And then you're like, wait a minute, I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't done this in years. Or I haven't done this before at all. And I'm good, nothing happened. You start to break certain type of habits. Do this as often as you feel that you should do this. In your heart space, and your ancestors, your benevolent ancestors that have your highest and greatest good, also could help and aid and assist you in this as well. Trust me. So I say this all to say, nobody said the healing journey is going to be easy. Nobody said that it's going to be poof, it's gone. I don't have the memory. I'm happy. I'm happy all the time. That's not real. That's not real life. But what I am saying is you could take the steps to do whatever you can to heal yourself. And trust me, your ancestors, your guides, and Source are going to assist you on the rest. Because we get it. They get it. This is not something that you could do on your own. Sometimes you need to reach out to that person that hurt you to help you with your healing. Not to say that they're going to say some lovely things to you. I'm not saying that either. But sometimes you need to hear that just so you could see for yourself and hear for yourself where they're at. And be okay with the fact that they're not where they need to be. And it's not your place to force them to be at that space where you are. It is your place, however, to learn the acceptance of where they are and love them from afar. Nobody said to deal with them every day. Nobody said to give them a call. Oh, we could go out and have some coffee or some drinks or whatever, or shoot the shit with each other. No, nobody's saying that. But it's important for your healing so you could know for yourself. And for those who have experienced affliction to someone that is no longer physically here, you could write out that letter to that person that got you fucked up. And in that letter, just make sure you include, and again, mean it. I forgive you for your imperfections as well as my own. Because I realized how, because of the situation I went through with you, I've inflicted others. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you afflicted them the same. Because that hurt can make you project pain and hurt and say fucked up shit to people that actually love you and care about you. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. Again, you're not even present enough to realize that you are doing it. Okay. So I think I've said enough. And I hope this video serves you well. And remember, this is a step-by-step process. And again, nobody said that this is going to be easy, but I guarantee you, once you are crossing certain strides of this, you're going to notice a difference between how you feel, how you see the world, and the actions therein that takes place. especially when you're getting source involved. All right, I'll share everyone.